come up with an online handle. You know.
I mean, you sticking with Mr. Movie Slut, or you want something different?
Like I don't know. Nothing. I haven't really given it any thought, to be honest.
Open up your inbox. Let the internet give you some nicknames.
Yeah, you got to come up with like a gamer tag. I can't do anything with like Josh or Zorich.
Like, there's nothing in like real life or like oh he burned you good. Like you can't we can't work that somehow. Like you got
Josh.
Yeah,
you got Joshua.
You got jizzed. Jay-Z. You got jizzed.
I'll take it.
Well, I mean,
you want that to stick, really? Like that's the one you're gonna choose?
my immediate idea goes to jizz, and he's just like, yeah, why not?
It does.
Now, if play the tape back on that. Within 5 seconds, I believe Mike said you got jizzed. I said I'll take it, and Brian said that's the one you want to stick.
Yeah,
and he had just pointed out why that made sense. Hello and welcome to another episode of Bry Guy and His Super Friends. I'm your host, Brian Labick. Joining me for this episode is a man who is still open to suggestions for a new nickname, Josh Zorich.
I really need some help with this, guys. I have not... My mind's been blank for like 3 months. I got nothing. Please help.
We also have gamer, streamer, podcaster, Tyrannus himself, Mike Bradley.
Hey, guys. You can check out the stream at twitch.tv/Tyrannus. That's 2 I's in that, by the way. Or, if you want to support St. Jude, you can head over to tiltify.com/@Tyrannus/Tyrannus-May-SJ to donate to my St. Jude campaign, which will be running for the entire month of May, but it's open now until the end of May if you'd like to donate. First week of March, we managed to raise $1,220 as a community for that. I would love to raise much more than that across the entire month of May. You can head over there and do that. Also, STMP Grips. You can get a 30% off discount if you use the code TAUR if you would like some grips for your PlayStation or Xbox controllers. That's my advertising spiel.
Well done. Plug that well.
I didn't practice.
And lastly, we actually have Ian Leidick here too.
Hey guys, so in about a year, big project coming up, about a year, we're going to have it all set up. Unless that bitch down Florida, Carol Baskin, fucks it up for us. But if she does not, in 1 year, you'll be able to come out to see my zoo. We're going to have cats, we're going to have tigers, we're going to have crocodiles, we're going to have big old bobcats. Come on down, baby!
That bitch Carol Baskin.
I think we know where his conversation's going to go tonight.
Bitch.
I think little teaser for what's going on later.
Ian, if you really pursue that as any part of like a life enterprise, I don't know how much, but I promise you I will be some kind of like micro investor.
I'd let you
David
know.
Lewis didn't kill himself.
I looked, and it only costs $200 to get an exotic animal dealer license in the state of Pennsylvania, which will let me buy, sell, and breed exotic animals.
No testing, by the way. You don't have to pass any tests. You just have to apply and pay
$200.
Pay the fee.
Bobcat, tigers, lions, elephants. Come check us out in the year, buddy.
I love the accent just comes out of nowhere for that.
The Pennsylvania accent there.
Like if you're going through your spiel, you just have to do the accent.
It just starts. I can't stop it.
Oh, shit.
You gonna be Ian Exotic, or are you gonna go with something different?
Oh, that is an excellent question. Well, I could be Ian Exotic, but I feel like I don't want people to think this is an animal sex thing. That's real important for me. I do not want people to think that. You can see right there, Brian's like, cut that part out.
Yeah, we're gonna cut all this out. It's totally fine.
It's gonna go from oh, and Ian is here to just the next sentence.
Yeah, we're just gonna go through the spiel of what we're doing on this episode. It's all gone.
I'm so happy right now.
All right, so our last episode was a way for us to catch up on sort of what's been going on in the news. We only covered a couple things, but it needed to be said. This episode will be a way for us to catch up with each other. So we're going to be talking about what's up with you. It does kind of seem like we've been off for, probably about 2 months. So, we took off for 2 months and all hell breaks loose. So we're just trying to recuperate and survive and in the quarantine, see how we can occupy ourselves. So it's a perfect time to go over what the hell we've been up to while we're stuck inside.
This is what happens in a world without Bry Guy and his Super Friends.
Yeah. See, we've created the apocalypse. If you want someone to blame, it's all our fault. Don't
No,
do
not
that.
mine. Not
Yeah.
mine.
Ian just works here.
I know we've. I think I've said this in the past.
You guys
I think,
get paid?
Yeah. And stimps.
Yeah, you're gonna get a 200% raise too
Yeah.
off your current rate here. I think I've said in the past I gotta maybe recruit the services of Chris Oliver again, and we'll see if we can come up with a "What's Up with You" theme song.
Oh, get a little jingle.
Yeah.
I feel like I should actually look. I feel like I recorded something maybe Andy did that was a "What's up with you" type of thing.
Okay.
It might just be him saying "What's up with you."
In a funny way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
maybe
out
we can-
I don't think it's.
Maybe we can like
If you could incorporate that in a jingle,
Yeah.
we definitely got to use
See if
that.
we can remix it somehow.
All right, so in the interest of trying to keep the episode moving, because we always are notorious for like we're gonna be an hour, and then 2 hours later happen.
And then we start the episode.
Yeah, true. So we're gonna implement a 20-minute timer. So we're gonna go around the room. We picked our little bit of order here. So Josh is gonna go first. We're gonna go to Mike, then Ian, then me. If you've never listened to What's Up With You, we're just basically talking about what we've been up to. So right now we're stuck inside. There's nothing left to do except for watch stuff, play games. So any movies, TV shows, video games we've been talking about and playing, that's what we're going to go over. So once Josh is up, I'm going to start the timer for 20 minutes, whatever we get through in 20 minutes, and then we're moving on to Mike. So Josh, whenever you are ready, I will start the timer.
So I think I'm going to start off with books, actually, because I have finally gotten back to kind of reading. I think the last couple of times we did this, since last summer, I think I remarked how I was reading American Gods, like, forever. And I just really, like, slow-paced through that. And then after that, I spent a couple of months reading through a tour book for Sarah and I's Ireland anniversary vacation, which I finally finished, I don't know, some after New Year's, which is great because hopefully we'll still be able to go on that vacation in
What is that planned for?
October.
Okay, yeah, fingers crossed you can make that.
Yeah. Luckily, so that finally got done. After that, I cracked into something that some friends had gotten me for Christmas. Thank you to Paul and Heidi, Paul Anderson, a fellow actual author. Go out and find his work. He's a horror writer. He has a ton of stuff. Everyone's going to be inside for a while, so go read.
True.
He and his wife, Heidi, they are actually the parents of Sarah and I's goddaughter, Amy. They had gotten me the first two, I guess what they call trade paperbacks, I guess. The first two volumes of Lock and Key.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it was like altogether maybe like 12 to 14 issues in the two volumes. I'd kind of heard of it before, and it was just on the cusp of like Netflix announcing the release date for their show adaptation version of it. So once I finally got around to reading it, I actually got sucked into the books pretty easily. I read through those first two in like one sitting, and then I got volumes 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think, from the library. Got through those. I requested the last volume, whether it's 6 or 7. It's called Alpha and Omega, but that was just as everything was shutting down. So the library shut down, and then I actually bought it I ordered it and bought it from Half Price Books because for like 2 weeks they were doing curbside pickup, even though the stores were kind of off limits. But then like 3 days later, everything else kind of got nixed. So I got a call, I don't know, over a week ago that it had come in, but they weren't even allowed to allow me to stop by and pick it up.
How much is it killing you that that book is just waiting for you there?
It's just sitting there, yeah. And now that the order in Pennsylvania and like nationally is kind of extended through the end of April, this like last volume. So that's the thing. If I was like in the middle of it, it'd be one thing. It's like the last 6 or 7 issues of this whole thing
Right.
are just sitting at my local half price bookstore, and I can't get to it. So, no, I've really
Just
enjoyed
wait,
them.
it's going to be longer than that too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I've already prepared myself for that. No, I've actually really enjoyed them. The show adaptation was vastly different, in a lot of tone and reworking of the story. Even though the author Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son, he was. I don't know if he was a screenwriter for the show, but he was definitely like a co-showrunner. So he was very much involved in, moving the material from print to screen. I think the books are much darker than how the show came out. There's definitely like some flat out like sadistic moments that happen on the show, but it wasn't as like lacking conscience or brutal
So
in a way.
the question I have for you is the previews for the show. I have not yet watched it.
Uh-huh.
It interested me, and then it kind of reminded me of The House with the Clock on the Walls.
Okay, I could see that.
And I felt like I was hoping that it would take that more darker turn.
Mm-hmm.
Does it do that? Or is it more House with the Clock on the Walls?
Definitely darker than like just comparing between those two things, but I could see that they were still going for sort of like an acceptable teenage audience, whereas opposed to like there's a lot of stuff that Netflix makes that is you can just tell like this is for mature audiences.
Right. So they were going more softer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about the material. Can you like summarize or try to sell me on it?
Yeah, I mean the basic idea is a family moves into a new home that's it's like a family estate home after their father passes away, and it belongs to the father's family, and as things go, the last name of the family, the main family, is Locke, Locke, so it's very punny, Lock and Key. The house itself has a history, and it has supernatural qualities, and there are supernatural physical keys that are involved that do different things.
Okay.
I mean, that's the basic I could give you without actually, I wouldn't say like spoilers per se, but
Yeah.
ruining some of the fun of learning what the story is actually about and what these
Right,
things
gotcha.
all do.
Yeah.
But it is definitely on the darker side of like why the dad died and the backstory and
So
what gets pursued through the first.
closer to like scary
volumes.
stories to tell in the dark then?
Oh yeah.
Closer to that.
Yes.
Okay. Then I will definitely be watching this, because
Yeah.
House with the Clock on the Walls I didn't really enjoy that much.
No, that I mean, as far as like the film version of that.
Yeah, the film.
Yeah, and I saw that. That was definitely more of like a PG type of like Goosebumps or Hocus
Yes.
Pocus type of thing, which is fine.
I wasn't expecting that from Eli Roth, though.
True. Yeah, very true.
That's why I had different expectations for that
Yeah.
when I saw that one originally. So
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, I wouldn't say it goes constantly as graphic or dark as like The Walking Dead would be, but
Oh,
it's
no.
definitely like there's a lot of language in it. The
Wow.
violent acts that some of the characters are performing are like not sugar coated in any way. Like there's murder, there's a lot of like sick shit happening, but it's still, but like even to the point, and not to like be a dick about it, but like in this way that it's the type of horror that like in print, like Brian, you'd actually probably would enjoy the story.
Yeah.
enough, like it would be fine. But yeah, that's sort of how, like, that was like sort of my transition between what I've been reading and what I've been watching. The last thing I've been reading lately is, in preparation for the vacation again, I started reading some recommended, like, Irish traditional novels and whatnot. So there's
Okay.
a collection of short stories by James Joyce called The Dubliners, that I'm about halfway through, and yeah, just had this like list compiled from like tour books and things we'd researched on, like, hey, before you come, if you've never been to Ireland, like, read these couple of books, watch these couple of movies. So just kind of working my way through those.
Are any of them like a set of limericks?
The ones specifically out of James Joyce, or any of the
No, it's just
recommendations?
the Irish in general. I know they're famous for their limericks.
I'm sure they would not be hard to find, but nothing that I've put on the shelf. No.
Was
I
any
thi-
of it in Gaelic even, like any of the books? Like, not, full on, like, I can't read Gaelic, but not like, like the King's English?
It
I
would be
know...
in Celtic.
Yeah, that's
Well,
probably the word I was looking for more than anything.
Well, no, I mean, even both, because like traditional Irish, there's plenty of stuff out there. I remember in college trying to read like an older version of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and it was still like in a more like historic, traditional,
Mm-hmm.
like Gaelic,
Old English?
Old English type of thing. I couldn't read it.
Like Chaucer?
Yeah, like original Chaucer kind of writing, and it was, yeah, I could not read it. But no, the Dubliners, like James Joyce was writing in like the late 1800s and early 1900s, so it's very readable.
Anything on how to make the English pay for their bullshit in Northern Ireland? I'm kidding.
I mean, I'm not
kidding.
necessarily seeking out that kind of insight.
If you
but
want it, let me know.
We're also we're also not. I mean, the itinerary, like, we don't have any reservations or plans to be able to visit Northern Ireland while we're there. We'll just be.
You're not going to Belfast?
No, there's too much else that, like, we
I'm kidding.
Fit
I'm
a
kidding.
lot of. No, I mean, we actually would have if we had like maybe 2 more days, but we actually had to cut quite a bit out, to fit everything in, and we have almost like 12 days there. And we
Nice.
still had to chop stuff away, and we won't make it to Northern Ireland. So
You're not missing a whole lot there. It's not a nice place still.
I'm sure like some of the more major cities, probably have certain things that are enjoyable in and of themselves.
yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of the country that we're actually not gonna have a chance to see. I think.
Well, it's just like with that, all that stuff is so old there. Like, in anywhere you go there, there's something cool, just because it's all been there for so goddamn long. Like, none of it was built in the 1700s. It's all been there much longer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like,
there's towns you can go to that'll have roads from 1100.
Mm-hmm.
the place where we'll be, I think our second to last day, it's called Sean's Pub, and it is considered by many to be the oldest pub in all of Europe.
Oh, cool.
It dates from like 900.
I feel like
Josh, you
they'd
can have a
to
drink
get in
there.
a
You can have a
fist
root beer.
Well, okay, so here's the thing: is
I think he has a ginger ale.
well, we are driving. We're not like on a motor coach tour. So even like I'm in Ireland, I would at least try some of the stuff. Like, I have no desire or I care. I would not enjoy myself anymore to try to get like very Irish drunk in a pub.
Whoa.
But-
As
I'm
an
a-
Irishman, Irish drunk offends me.
Well, it's
Isn't
gonna have
the
to offend you then.
legal
As I drink
limit
my beer.
0.01 in Ireland to drive?
What's that?
Don't you have to be at least at 0.01 to drive in Ireland?
There's a minimum drunk requirement.
Aye.
But that's the thing, because most of our driving, like, we're barely staying in any place more than a day, and some of this stuff is going to be like stopping at like a Jameson distillery, stopping at Sean's Pub. So I really can't indulge a whole lot because
You have a
we
taste,
then
though.
right, yeah, that's the thing. It depends. Like some of the small places we're stopping, some of the distilleries and whatnot, I could do like one sample, but I am like ultra conservative when it comes to that. So like the idea of even testing, having anything beyond too much would like, and driving, like I'm not
On
gonna
the
do
right
it.
side of the
I
road?
don't mean that. I just mean literally a taste. They do have tastings. They'll pour you like a third of a shot in a lot of places where it's just like, taste how good we are at making whiskey.
And then spit
Yeah,
it out.
so like at the
Yeah,
some
then
of
they
the
have the
distillery
spit it out
tours,
thing.
like
They'll have like a bowl you can
like-
spit in.
like Sarah will be able to do like a more robust tasting session or do those kind of things. But that's like, yeah, the extent of what I'll get it to do. Most of like if we're staying in an area for the night, like once we arrive for the night, and like if we go down to the pub and have like a beer with dinner, like try something, like I'll probably do that. But yeah, I mean like someone like
Try
me,
a
like
real Irish Guinness.
oh yeah, we're going to the Guinness. We'll be in
A
Dublin
real
for a
Irish
few days.
Guinness should be served hot like coffee.
So we're going to Guinness itself, and I'm sure it'll be everywhere. But yeah, like
Just do me a favor and photo document every drink you have.
that's the thing. Ireland is wasted on someone like me so much.
See, and this is what I feel like, man. As an, I think I'm the only Irishman here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I know, like, I have no idea what your origins are. Any of
I have
that.
some Irish in me. I don't know how much, but I know there's some there.
Same.
Pure blood over here.
I mean, you're pure blood.
Well, 50. It's because I'm half Scottish. I meant there's none of that filthy Irishman blood in here.
Wait, so you're half Scottish.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking as the only Irishman here, you know, it being known only for like this whole like drinking thing is killing me.
Well, I will be sure to let you know all of the drinks I am not having while I'm there, Mike. That they're going to waste.
Fair enough. Fair
So-
enough.
Yeah, well, let me steer back to some stuff real quick. So I went through some other stuff on Netflix. I said I went through the Lock and Key series. Before that, I finally watched the OA, which was interesting but weird. And I guess it was supposed to have, like, the plan for it was to have multiple seasons, like everything, but the creators had like a multi-season plan laid out. And since it got canceled after 2, what was left was just very strange. But it was different. It was definitely like sci-fi and whatnot.
Yeah, I did give that show a shot at some point. I think I got like 2 episodes in before I was like, this isn't for me. It's not catching me.
I agree with that too. I would say it was probably not until like episode like 5 or 6 of season 1 that I actually got hooked. I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually really cool. And
Okay.
I really dug all of season 1, and then season 2 was very different than where I thought the story was going to go. And then like Netflix.
Is it only 2 seasons?
Yeah, Netflix
Okay.
has already canceled it, so it's not going to go beyond that.
See, I've just lost all desire to even try to follow up and watch that show.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Does it wrap up nicely?
No,
Well, then,
because
yeah.
it wasn't, like I said, it was planned to probably be like 4 or 5 seasons, and it's like they had a very, like, you could tell they probably had a long form plan. They knew what it was going to be, but it needed to be that whole thing, and they just didn't get a chance to do it.
It's a shame when that happens.
Yeah. Other quickly, I just blew through Altered Carbon, 2nd season of that.
I've heard good things about that.
I've really enjoyed it. Anthony Mackie takes over as the lead actor in season 2. Who is it? Joel Kinnaman
Yes.
was the persona that the character lived in season 1. And then that gets transferred. It's a whole like consciousness transference thing.
That's one. I think Eric watched the first season. He kept telling me all about it. Like, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. And I still haven't done it. So I actually have to find time to do
It's
that.
really good. I mean, the production value is really good. The actress who played Misty Knight on Luke Cage,
Oh yeah.
she's in season 2.
Okay.
So I dug that. And then I finished that this morning while I was working, and then I started Happy season 2,
Mm.
which is just one of the most effed up shows I've seen in so long. But Christopher Maloney he's genius on
Did
that
you
show.
see the big news?
I guess not.
Elliot Stabler is returning.
Who's
SVU.
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 His SVU character, they are bringing him back for his own series.
Oh, jeez.
I cannot wait for that.
Sarah will be happy, and I have some coworkers who apparently have seen every episode of Law & Order ever or something, so they're
With
happy.
Stabler in it, I have. As long as Elliot Stabler's a part of it, I have watched them all.
I told them like a week or two ago, like, oh, Happy is getting its second season. It's coming. It's going to be on Netflix, because they were talking about like Ozark season 3 or something just released too.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, Happy is out. You guys talk about Law and Order all the time. Well, Christopher Maloney is on Happy. They're like, oh, really? I'm like, I don't think you're gonna like Happy. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
It's out
just-
there.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's a little out there, but it's fun.
Yeah. I know I probably am already at my time now, but
You got 50 seconds.
50s. All right, so let's go through my movie list for the last, say, month or so. Sarah and I rewatched A Quiet Place about a week and a half before, well, probably about 4 days before they made the announcement that A Quiet Place Part 2 would be delayed. We had watched it again in preparation for the sequel, and now we'll just have to wait a little bit. We
Yeah.
also were going to start going through Daniel Craig's James Bond movies again, so we watched Casino Royale, and then that got delayed. But that gives us a lot of time. That's one thing we might do. I might say, like, let's finally watch the James Bond series, because I've only seen the Daniel Craig's and then like 3 of the Sean Connerys, so maybe we'll finally do those.
That'd be fun to revisit, like as you're starting to go through them. Like
Pierce
just talk about them
Brosnan.
on like another What's Up With You or something. How do I stop that?
Oh
Stop.
God, he doesn't know how.
Okay, it's done.
How do you wake up in the morning if you don't know how?
I have a alarm. This is just that's the alarm sound, but it sets a different. I was using the timer, different setting in the clock.
Go ahead, list out what you had left, Josh.
I'm adhering to rules. I'm off.
If you can wrap it up quickly, you just roll through your list.
Okay, so we watched Spinal Tap because Sarah's never seen it. I rewatched Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald, and I was telling Brian about this. I actually really found that I enjoyed it a lot more after not having seen it for like a year and a half. And I watched a bunch of the special features, which really helped. We watched Free Fire, which if you haven't seen that, you should. It is such a train wreck of a story, but it's so fun. It's like a Reservoir Dogs type of thing happening, but like an hour of the hour and a half of the movie is just a shootout happening in a warehouse because of like an
But I
arms
feel like
deal
it's very
going bad.
realistic. Like that's how I feel like a shootout would be.
Have you watched it?
I did watch it, yeah, because you
Okay.
got it for me.
Yeah. I just didn't know if you see. Yeah, it's very like it's just in real time as the seconds tick by. It's a lot of fun, I think. We rewatched the original Candyman because hopefully that sequel is still coming on time in June. We watched.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I
Next
know.
to doubt.
And then something we started doing was we started like mixing series. So we watched the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, and like we watched Batman Begins, and then we watched Inception, and then we started watching Mission Impossible, and then went back to Dark Knight, and then we watched Clue, and then watched Mission Impossible 3, and then we finished.
3 gets a bad rep, but 3 is really fucking good.
3 is amazing. Philip Seymour Hoffman is like he
Yes.
steals that movie every second he's in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, after we finished Dark Knight, then we kept going with Mission Impossible, which we just finished like 2 days ago. No, last night. We watched Fallout last night. So we finished Mission Impossible, and then we started interspersing that with the JJ Star Treks. So we watched the first one of that, and then Star Trek Into Darkness the other day too. So we got to finish
That-
Beyond. At some
JJ's
point.
first Star Trek movie is like damn near pitch perfect.
It's as good. I will say it is as solid of a movie as like Iron Man.
Yeah.
There is
I completely
nothing
agree.
wrong with
Yeah.
the first JJ Star Trek.
Like the
In the
pacing in
end
that
of the
movie,
third
it just
one-
goes.
I was gonna say, in the end of the third one, still has one of my favorite scenes:
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've only
the
seen that
Beastie
once.
Boys scene.
Oh, and that
That's
they
the only way to
utilized
put
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, if you're not smiling ear to ear at that scene, Like, come on.
Oh, and the very last thing, Sarah and I started watching The Office last night.
I did see
she
her
has
Facebook post for that.
She's never watched The Office ever, so we watched the first 4 episodes.
Is it tough for her
You
to
only
learn
got-
all the jokes already?
You know, I was not someone who went back and like constantly rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it once through, and I was never. So many years ago, I got out of like even watching regular repeat TV on syndication,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't just constantly see the episodes over and over. So I've forgotten a lot, which is fun because it's like seeing it, a lot of it for the first time again, or being reminded like, oh, I forgot about that one coming up. So yep,
You've
that's
got
my
a lot
piece.
of that good stuff coming.
Nice, good deal. Mike, you're up.
All right.
Starting the timer.
Fair enough. Most recently, finally got around to watching What We Do in the Shadows, the series, which is absolutely 100% holding up everything the movie did. It is, it was that concern, like, Jermaine Clement and Taika were not going to be performing for this. They were, directing and writing and everything, but they weren't actually going to be in it. So it was that concern of, like, how's it going to hold up? It fucking is amazing. I recommend everybody go out and watch this. If you like the movie, you're going to love the show. It holds up the humor without getting stale or trying to repeat the same jokes, which all too often things like that will try to do. Not a whole lot to say about it other than just go out and fucking watch it. It's still too fresh for me to, like, lay down spoilers or anything. Also, very recently, I got to finally watch Ford versus Ferrari.
Ooh, that one's good.
Yeah, that's a fantastic fucking movie. Kind of sad it didn't win any awards, because I feel like it didn't win any, and I feel like there was definitely some deserved performances in there.
Yeah.
Specifically Christian Bale's performance.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he deserved an award for something for that. Just give him something.
Was it nominated?
It did get some, yeah.
It got some. It was nominated for like Best Picture and
I don't
probably
think it got...
screenplay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look as you're talking. I don't know if it got any acting ones though.
Well, Christian Bale deserved it. If he didn't get a nomination, he at least deserved a nomination. It was an awesome movie. I was putting it on at night, and I was glued to the screen, watching the whole damn thing. Like I
It's a
figured
good
I'd fall
2.5 hour
asleep.
movie, but that moves. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I figured I would fall asleep halfway through it and end up watching the rest of it the next day. Nope. I was awake the whole damn time, and I was loving it the whole way. That was awesome. Haven't really done much reading during this quarantine. I've been playing a lot of video games, been streaming a lot, doing all that stuff. I'll get into that soon. New season of the Clone Wars has been fucking fantastic so far. Again, not going to get into spoilers on it, but damn, Dave Filoni just knows how to fucking tell a Star Wars story. And he's awesome. And then, of course, watching wise, the only other thing is really the Tiger King, which Ian was referring to earlier. Of all the fucked up stories I've ever seen on reality TV, this is one where it's like, even at the end, after everything you watch, you're still like, well, what the fuck just happened?
How do you describe it Monday, Ian? Like a multiple train wrecks or
Well, that's
something?
the thing. Someone mentioned it's like I think you said it's like watching a train wreck. I'm not too into that. I'm like, no. It's like you're watching a train wreck and then another one starts before that one's even crashed yet. And then there's 10 more about to happen and you see them coming and they all just start crashing and it's hard to keep up. They waited 3 episodes to tell us that this lady might have killed her husband.
Yeah. So
That's a huge deal. So we don't bring it up for 3 goddamn episodes.
Like this lady and her husband, it's one of Florida's unsolved murders or disappearances. Still to this day, nobody fucking knows where this guy is or where the body is or anything. Anything. If you ever want to know how to get into a show, look into this guy's story. It's like David Lewis or something like that. I can't remember his first name.
Dawn.
It's Lewis. Todd?
Dawn.
Don.
Like
Don
Draper.
Lewis. This guy says to a friend of his, if I can pull this off, it'll be the greatest fucking thing ever. Literally, those are like the quoted words he says to a friend of his. Next day, he fucking vanishes off the planet. Nobody knows where he is. There was accusation that this woman who was like the PETA animal protector trying to like help the animals that these other people were supposedly abusing and all that, they claimed she fed him to her tigers. And it's like, but nobody has any physical evidence of anything. They can't charge anybody with anything. Everything's just going fucking nuts. And by the end of this, you're like, one guy sets up another guy to take over his zoo. He gets him charged with murder. Or, no, what was it? Like, it was interstate.
Time out. Are you spoiling? Not that I'm going to watch, but for anybody listening, are you spoiling the show?
No, they don't have answers to any of this. There's no spoiling.
By
the end of the show, you're still like, what the fuck happened?
You know that when you start it. Like, it starts off of a trailer, and the guy's in jail in the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in the trailer. He's in jail for murder for hire. And, like, holy fucking shit. Like, seriously, like, they kind of played it like I had said before, the whole or not murder, but the whole, like, tiger sex ring thing. And then Ian kind of explained it perfectly. The one guy who still, he didn't really have anything to do with except, like, tangentially.
He knows everyone, because everyone knows everyone in the big cat community, that's what they call it. Everyone knows everyone. It's just a bunch of incest.
Everyone. He has, well, it's not actual incest between them.
You do have to clarify.
Yeah, we do have to clarify. It's not actual incest. But this guy has, like, a harem of women where if you come to work for him, you're expected to sleep with him. And this is somehow fucking okay. They all work for him. And it's like something like they said, like, they work 16-hour days. They get paid $100 a week. And their entire life and their entire job is caring for these tigers and fucking this dude. That's basically
I can see that you've piqued Josh's interest judging by his face right now.
He's like, damn, I gotta get me some tigers. I mean,
interest is a kind word I would use.
Oh, the best part is they talked to one of the girls that like escaped this tiger sex cult, and she mentions like that she didn't really agree to it. They just signed her up to get plastic surgery, and she went with it just because it would mean 3 days off of work while she recovered.
yeah, she was gonna get some time off work, so she was like, what the hell? Let's get boob implants and deal with it because we get some time off.
Quitting.
Well, you're in a cult,
it's like
it's
like any cult, man. They're mentally stuck there. You know what I mean? Like this dude is able to gain a mental hold on people.
Like after the 16-hour workday feeding and caring for tigers, it's really hard to plan out my escape.
And they're all drawn in by their love of the animals, you know?
That's what the real sick part is. It's so many of these. Almost everyone in the big cat community is a manipulator and then tries to hold you in somehow.
At the top end.
Yeah, like the heads of the zoos and stuff. And it's all these people, they bring you in because you love animals and you want to help out these animals, and that's how they get you.
Yeah, the one guy that like he seemed like maybe like the second in charge for Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. This guy was like fucking heartbroken by the end of all this because of what happened to the cats. Not because of what happened to Joe or what happened to anybody else, just because of what he had to deal with through his whole time doing what he did. Boy, that show is just fucked up. I'm sure Ian will bring it back up. But seriously, I don't. And you end up the show not knowing whether to say fuck that bitch Carol Baskin or not, because like they don't give you any closure to like what happened with this dude. They still don't know. Like nobody fucking knows where this Don Lewis dude is or what happened to him.
I forget what county it is, but that county's police department was stated when this show aired that it's an open case still. And if you have any information, let them know.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw a story today that because they lobbied for someone to be released and pardoned last year, and it happened, that Kanye and Kim Kardashian are in communication with the White House to intervene in something regarding this.
Yeah.
Not having
Cardi
watched the
B's
show,
involved.
I don't remember the details because they didn't stick because I couldn't contextualize it, but yeah.
Everything about that sentence is scary.
Shaq appeared on the show.
Yeah, briefly.
Evidently, he went down and bought a tiger from the guy at one time.
What
So
the fuck just says, yeah, you know what, I'm going to own a tiger today.
That's the thing.
Mike Tyson?
Why?
I was just like, well, so here's the thing. They
You're not
actually
helping
tell
the case
you.
here, Ian.
They actually tell you at the end of the show. In the U.S., there are 5,000 to 10,000 privately owned tigers. In the wild, there's less than 4,000 tigers.
Good.
There's more privately owned, there's like twice as many privately owned tigers just in our country than there is in the wild in the
People
world.
are stupid.
Strong.
Well, and that's just tigers. That's not even like counting like the crossbreeds and the lions and all the other shit. Like this guy goes on, he had a television web series. Or not television, he had a web series like joeexotic.tv or some shit like that.
.com.
And .com.
No,
whatever.
joeexotic.tv.com. That was the whole.
Oh, okay.
It was fucked
Okay.
up. He's not good at the internet.
So there's a couple things that he did where one, he threatened to send this woman like rattlesnakes in the mail. And then I'm pretty sure he actually fucking did it. Because she said like, oh yeah, the one day I opened up my mailbox and there was rattlesnakes. Or his fans did it or some shit like that. Then what Ian was talking about, he made fucking country music videos.
Oh,
Yeah, I
the-
remember talking about that.
He made a country music video where he got an actress to play this woman feeding her husband to the cats. Like, he was trolling this woman about having killed her husband and fed him to her tigers
the craziest
by
part
making
about it.
a country music video called, what was it, Here Kitty Kitty?
Yes.
That he called this?
Yes. The craziest part for me was when they started showing the music video in this, I thought they actually got her to appear. That's how good this double of her was. It was
really was.
astounding.
He's not wrong. The double they got looked exactly like her. Now, she's a very fucking white bread old blonde lady, to be fair. Like, I feel like you could find like a dozen of them in Allegheny County somewhere. But all the same, there's a quote. Like, Ian gave his favorite quote from the series. My favorite quote from the series is this woman, Carol Baskin, says, well, you know, I always dress in all cat print. And when I go to talk to a congressman or a senator, I always dress head to toe in different cat prints because they know if you show up in cat print, you're serious about cats.
Well, she's not wrong.
She's serious about cats.
I just was like, nope, that's not at all what that would tell me if I'm sitting at a desk and you walked in head to toe in cat print.
We haven't even mentioned her cuck husband yet.
That is a good term for it. That is accurate as fuck.
The beginning of the other sentence of when I go to talk to congressmen and senators, that implies that congressmen and senators are talking to her.
Well, she's been trying to get the Big Cat Protection Act, or something. It's something named something like that. She's been trying to get that passed for years to try and prevent people like this Joe Exotic guy from selling people the opportunity to pet like tiger cubs and stuff. Because what they had was actually like a Vegas ring where they would take tiger cubs and stuff up to Vegas hotel rooms, and people would pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to come up and play with the cubs. And then it's like one of those things, like, it's bad for these animals. And then, but the problem was they were taking the cubs and they would have them until they were 20 weeks old or so, and then they would euthanize them and just make more cubs. And this is why that she's fighting for this act to be put into place.
This is also the woman who's possibly suspected of having her husband killed or killing her
Yes,
husband, something like
yes.
that.
No, killing.
She
killing
murdered her husband.
That's not a fact.
It's a fact.
We don't know what happened to her husband.
Anytime
Nobody
there
does.
might be reasonable suspicion that that's hanging over your head, that's gonna damage your.
Oh,
standing.
absolutely. There is reasonable suspicion because nobody fucking knows where it went, and she inherited millions of dollars when he vanished.
Because she changed his will right before he vanished.
Yes, to also include that if he vanished, it counted. Like, it's shady as fuck. I'm gonna move
Josh is
on.
gonna run out and watch the show immediately when we're done.
I'm not, because I think I'm getting everything that I need.
No, this isn't even 10%.
Yeah, he's not wrong. You need to watch it. Like, it's ridiculous.
We haven't even named like 20 of the characters.
Yeah. Don't forget Joe Exotic's 3 husbands, one of which had property of Joe Exotic tattooed on his crotch that he, at the end of the show, like, you get to see him, like, trying to tattoo over that. Not on his crotch, but, like, on, like,
The pelvic region.
pelvic region that's safe to show without
Just
showing
say you
junk.
literally said on his crotch.
Well, I mean, that's still your crotch.
That's what he wanted to own, though.
Groin area.
Yeah, nonetheless, go out, watch this. If you, like Ian said, 10 different train wrecks happen all at one time.
And that's the first episode.
Yep. You can see it all coming. Like,
Oh.
there's still people related to all this that are going to be facing trials and jail time and all this shit. Not a problem. So, moving on from there, gaming-wise, for me, it's been a lot of Warzone. We played a lot of Warzone. I'm sure Brian and Ian will talk plenty about that. I have been playing through Resident Evil 2, the remake, in preparation for Friday's Resident Evil 3 remake release. I can't fucking wait for that.
Do we know what the, like, RE3 remake, are they making changes? Because I know with the second one, I don't remember the guy's name, but the one that follows you around the whole time.
Yeah, what about him?
Well, because that's basically how the Nemesis worked in 3. Like, are they doing
Well, no,
something to change
Mr.
it?
X follow. If you played through Resident Evil 2, the original,
Yeah.
Mr. X was in there, and he did that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only to Claire in certain. I think it was like Claire B. He would follow you around.
Okay.
He would appear in Claire A, but he followed you like that in Claire B.
It's been a while. It felt more pronounced when I've seen the
Well, that's 'cause
remaster.
they
It's a
put 'em
big
in
deal.
Every version now.
Okay.
Like it did matter what, like Leon A, Claire A. It didn't matter what version you were playing. He chased your ass around, and he was actually much more of a problem for Leon than Claire this time.
Mm-hmm.
So is there changes? Maybe. I don't know yet.
I just didn't know if they had announced or it came out in a trailer or something.
Well, I played the demo, which was fucking awesome. You can catch that demo on my YouTube channel, Tyrannus on YouTube. It's about a 20-30 minute playthrough. And it is actually, like, Nemesis shows up in the demo, of course, because why wouldn't he? But from what I've heard, Nemesis actually plays less of a part in this than he did in the original game. What I've seen in early reviews, without, like, I haven't caught any reviews that included spoilers, but they've just said Nemesis is not as much of an annoyance as he was in the first game, which kind of disappoints me a little, but we'll find out on Friday. Other games I've been playing, I did a 12-hour Elder Scrolls Oblivion stream this past weekend. We're going to continue that after we get through the Resident Evil 3 remake. Played that a few times. We're going to continue on with that Elder Scrolls Oblivion playthrough. That is one of my absolute favorite games ever.
Does it hold up?
Oh, it fucking holds
Are
up.
you playing
for
on
me.
console?
I tried playing on... I have it on PC, and the problem is it's like I can play it on PC without a problem, but streaming it is a bit of a bitch.
Okay.
Because it does not... Every time I would, like, try to change the screen from OBS to the game would crash.
Okay.
So it
It's
does not
unfortunate.
like to be streamed, which that's the case for a lot of older games. It
Mhm.
can be really tough to stream them if you have them on PC. Take some figuring out and doing. But I also owned it on Xbox already, so I was just like, all right, I'll just play on Xbox for this. And it is fucking great. I've always liked Oblivion more than Skyrim, personally. It's my personal preference on that. I know Skyrim's great, but Oblivion is top marks for me. Probably, like I said, one of my top 5 games of all time. As well as the original Resident Evil 3, right in there among my top 5 games ever.
Was that your
So-
first Elder Scrolls?
No, I played Morrowind.
Okay, it
But-
seems like people usually, their first one's their favorite, I feel like.
Morrowind is not my favorite because Morrowind on the original Xbox took, like, I don't know, 10 years to load between fucking screens.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest problem with Morrowind was
It was
you
a
went
chug.
from one area to another. Yeah, it played like shit. The actual content was awesome, but so did 4, honestly. When the Xbox first launched, how many times did Oblivion crash the 360? Like, it seemed like it crashed fucking every half an hour you were playing. There was a problem.
Yeah.
At least that was in, like, the first original like that first month or so of like the 360 because it was a launch title with 360. So it was like that first month or so before they started getting patches out.
Mm-hmm.
That game was buggy as hell. Now, however, it's very stable and it's fucking fantastic. Other than that, there's not a whole lot going on. I'm not playing Animal Crossing. I got through Doom Eternal,
Nice.
which I cannot fucking recommend enough. If you like first-person shooters, Doom Eternal is the cream of the crop right now for PvE first-person shooter. High intensity, high pace the whole time. Awesome bosses. And, yeah, it's going to challenge you, and it's going to ask you to get better throughout the entire game and learn, which may not be for everybody. I don't recommend playing it on any higher setting than Hurt Me Plenty. Especially if you're not a first-person shooter junkie.
You gonna go back and play it on Nightmare?
No. No fucking way. Hurt Me Plenty was enough.
Where is that in the difficulty scale? Is that towards the top?
Hurt Me Plenty
Middle?
is Hurt Me Plenty is
Yeah.
normal.
Okay.
So it starts with like I'm too young to die is the easy mode, and then Hurt Me Plenty is normal, and then Ultra Violence is hard, and then Nightmare is a fucking nightmare. Ultra Nightmare is that same. It's no harder than Nightmare, but if you die, the game is over. That is Ultra Nightmare. So like it's the same difficulty as Nightmare, but it's permadeath. There's no
One
saves.
life to live.
Yeah, like no saves. You can't save at the end of beating a level. You have to beat the game start to finish. You can hard save. Like if you only want to play 6 hours of the 10 or so hours you would have to play, you can hard save in there at some point if you haven't died and pick up. But as soon as you're dead, you're done. So that's quite a task to
Yeah, that
take
sounds
on.
terrible.
it does sound terrible. That's why I'm not going to do it. But I highly recommend the game anyways. It is a fucking blast. I would, like, the multiplayer is the only other thing I would comment on with it. It needs work. A full multiplayer match is only 3 people. And this is the only mode that they have currently. And that's my only gripe, is that a full multiplayer match is 3 people. It's the only mode they currently have, and it's like... Yeah, you can play as demons versus the Doom guy, or Doom guy versus the demons, but it doesn't feel right. It feels like it needs something else going on.
Probably one of those things they just had to put on the box.
I just don't know why
Right.
they bothered making one for this or Doom 2016.
Doom 2016 multiplayer was fun as shit. And their whole interface was much better because they had user-made levels you could play too. I don't know if you got into that a whole lot, but there was like hundreds and hundreds of user-made levels that you could go in and play through co-op. And they had challenges, they had all this kind of shit you could do, and I'm like, where's that in this game? That's my only like major complaint, is like you had this amazing open source way for people to make their own levels in Doom 2016 that you took away for this one. And I'm hoping it makes a comeback at some point. Because me and Dawn actually used to play that for hours some nights. We just sit there playing the random levels that people made. It was fucking great.
Is it just like deathmatch multiplayer type of thing?
They had deathmatch multiplayer, but what I'm talking about is like PvE levels that they opened up the source and you could make your own.
So it's just you and Dawn against computer enemy AI people?
Yep, like
Okay.
a horde mode.
Gotcha.
And it
Okay.
was like on a user generated level. That
I'm
would
still thinking it
determine
was
the
PvP
difficulty.
stuff.
No. It was co-op,
Gotcha. Okay.
and it was awesome. And there were, like I said, there was hundreds and hundreds of levels. So I'm hoping at some point that comes back, because again, you tell users go ahead and make levels, they will, and very often some of those levels were as good as the actual levels. Not all of them. You ran into stinkers, like not everybody's very good at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
All right, Mike, your time is up.
indeed.
Ian, you're up.
Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with what I've been reading recently, which I know is going to be a very exciting topic for everyone, very titillating. So the book I'm reading right now is Winter War, which is about the winter in between when Roosevelt was elected president and became president, because him and Hoover had a lot of disagreements about the country. Because if you know at the time, FDR and the New Deal, the Republicans said it would kill our democracy and ruin America forever. So it's
Which
about
was
the
proven
whole.
to be true.
Yes, as we all know, America no longer exists.
Yep.
And
We're screwed.
the whole point of it is the infighting that happened between the incoming president and the current president. I think you don't get much of that because no one wants to talk about it in the moment. So you have to go back to like the 40s and 50s to see when this happened, or in this case, the 30s. So it's been a really interesting take on politics for me because I'm not too familiar. I know about like the world wars and stuff, but I don't know about the political behind it, like on the home front and stuff. So it's been real cool to see that, and then arguments about the Depression. I've also just finished reading Goblin Slayer number 9. It's a light novel from Japan. So it's basically a fantasy world where you join guilds and you go fight monsters. And our main character, Goblin Slayer, only kills goblins. And he's now a high-ranking guild member. So in issue number 9, he had killed an ogre a while ago. And now his brother's back for revenge. So it's a very
Good
epic
revenge story.
Yeah, it's great, and the ogre's like, "Hey, my brother, you killed him," and he's like, "I don't even know what you are, because Goblin Slayer only kills about killing goblins. He doesn't even know that guy's name. He doesn't know it's an ogre. He could care less." It's a very fun, like, fantasy story. And then it's been a bit because of the quarantine. I haven't been able to get out to the comic book store, but I've been reading Undiscovered Country by Charles Soule and Scott Snyder. It's basically a take on. It's actually going to be really relevant now. I'm now wondering how much they knew. So it takes place, I think, about 20 years, 30 years in the future, and America closed itself off. Like, completely, like, there's like a no-fly zone, like, radio signals can't get in. No one has heard anything from America in about, like, 30 years. And then worldwide during this time, a disease started spreading around, and there's a pandemic called Sky, and, like, it makes you, like, bleed blue and, like, stuff. So they get a message from some guy in America that says he can help them find the cure. So it's like, it's basically...
It's definitely not real life.
Right. It's basically, at this point, it's like a European coalition, and then like a Pan-African Asian are the two main governments left. Like, they all formed up, and they send a squad into America to try and find the cure. It's about, I think, issue 5's probably out now. 6, it was probably supposed to come out, but I don't know if it did because quarantine. But it's been really fun. Soule and Snyder are two amazing comic book writers. Snyder obviously had that amazing Batman run recently. So it's been really fun. The first cover is just, like, it's a great fucking cover. And one of my favorite parts about it is at the end, they take turns now, like, telling you about the creation of the book and how, like, they teamed up and different things. Like, they show you a lot of concept art. Like, they went through how they came up with the first cover. And, like, all the little things and what they liked about each cover and how they made it into one. And they even mentioned, like, they thought they wouldn't be able to meet much, but if they became, it like really helped them. They just started meeting once a month to go talk in a cafe because it just helped them, like, get through life in general too, not just making the story, but just as like a mental anxiety reflex thing.
What was the name of that again, Ian?
Undiscovered Country.
Undiscovered Country.
It's been great. I can't wait to keep reading it.
It's
already been optioned for a movie or a TV show. I can't remember which. It was optioned before it came out. Let's see. Then I guess I'll move on to video games for a bit. So I've been playing a lot of free games, and the one is Legend of Runeterra, which is the League of Legends card game. Now, I was a big card game guy because I was the perfect age for Pokemon, so I did all the Pokemon stuff. I played the card game. I went to Toys R Us every week. And then when I moved out to where Brian lives, he might know it. There was a place called Pittsburgh Sports Cards or something down in Harrison City, right by the high school. It's right across from that gas station. It now does computer stuff. It's next to Boovy's Barbershop.
Okay.
When I moved out here, I was super into Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd go out once a week to Parkway Center Mall to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. Then when I moved here, I started going to this guy's to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I finally, part grew out of it, and part spending my money on alcohol, which has really made it tough for me at that age to continue playing card games. So I've always been trying to like find one. Like Magic, there's too much Magic in the past for me to want to jump in and learn, because I don't want to play these try-hard, sweaty dudes, like, you know. So I was
They've
always
been playing it for 20 years.
Yeah. So then I tried Hearthstone, and I liked Hearthstone, but then I had to spend a lot of money on Hearthstone, and I was in college, and once again I wanted to spend my money on alcohol. So I just couldn't do both. So Runeterra came out, and their monetization's a little different. You buy tokens that you trade in for the specific cards you want instead of random packs. But that's limited per week, so you can't just buy every card day one. So everyone's kind of on the same curve of collecting the cards. So it's been a lot of fun. It's real similar. Like, they kind of mashed up Hearthstone and Magic for the people that know, like, to make their game kind of like, that's the basest way to like, explain it. It's still your card game with that. It's been really fun. The only problem is, once again, it's Riot. So you just know something's gonna get fucked up at some point. So then, speaking of Riot, the other free game I've been playing a lot is Teamfight Tactics. So I don't know if you guys remember last summer, the auto chess explosion happened. No.
Nope.
So auto
Please
chess
explain.
is a game where you gain money each round, and then you get more money if you win and stuff. And then you can buy units with that money, and then you place them on a board, like a chess board. And then at the end of the round, you get randomly matched against another person, and then your units fight. And then however many units are left, like, you take up how much they cost, and that's how much damage you take to your health. So someone made it. It was actually a League of Legends. Like, it was a mod, and then someone made a Dota mod, because Dota is, you know, the other League of Legends. So then Dota, like Steam, they're like, well, we got to make our own auto chess game. And then League of Legends, like, we got to make one. So I, of course, chose to play the biggest one. And they're on their third season now. It's still in beta, because why would they ever release it? And it's part of their Riot's big thing is we got to maybe not make just League of Legends. So they're releasing 6 games. And one just announced, I can't remember the name, they're making their own Overwatch. So I'm actually going to be excited to check that out. It's that kind of... It's more Counter-Strike in the combat, but it's the fanciful characters with abilities. But it's more Counter-Strike gunplay-wise. So I'm really excited for that, because I think it's going to be really cool that someone that's never made a shooter, making one doesn't always work, but we'll see. And you know, it's probably going to be free, though they have not confirmed that yet, which is always a worry, because I don't want to just spend $20 on something I'm not... Even 20, I guess I wouldn't mind, but there's things.
Yeah, you start getting up there. It's do I want to take a chance on that or not?
Oh, yeah. Now, this one is completely out of the box. This is not a thing I'm really consuming. Today I paid for an art commission. I've never done that before. My big thing was I usually go to these anime cons, but they're not happening for some reason. I haven't figured that one out yet, but they're not occurring this year. And I usually go to buy art there to like support artists. We also go to one called Sci-Fi Valley Con, their art. And I bought books there from like a local artist, like a local writer recently. And in my head I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I'm actually supporting someone trying to write that like actually needs the money, because he's basically self-publishing. And he's like, do you want me to sign these? And I'm like, well, I can't tell him no, because he's right there. I'm buying his books.
I'm buying your stuff, but please don't sign this. I just want to
this.
take the book and go.
So I did the little E, big B, A, Y. And so I decided to commission art. So it was just fun for me to, like, instead of like looking around through these dealer halls and looking at all these different art with stuff, I got to just say, hey, do this, please. And it worked. So we're going to find out in a month how that is. I'll bring it on to one of our Twitch shows.
What did you have commissioned? Do we have like a description of what you asked for?
He's gonna pull this statue from behind him. See this one? It's gonna be a full-blown picture.
Oh God, you encourage this.
So
Josh hasn't been exposed to this yet.
Yeah, so it's this girl from Konosuba.
Oh,
her name is Darkness. So it's going to be her doing squats.
I mean, I was half... okay. I was gonna say I was half joking, but there it is.
So that was going on. That was pretty great. And then... But what else is up with me? So then I've been reading... so I mentioned Goblin Slayer already. So of course I've been reading other manga and stuff. And I'm reading one right now. It's called General Mao. So it's basically a comedy on Russia. So instead of Stalin's dead. And now, for whatever reason, his great-granddaughter is running the country.
Seems to
And-
track.
And she's 9 years old.
Didn't that just like almost happen in Italy with like Mussolini's granddaughter trying to take over, and like she's an actual politician in Italy right now?
I wouldn't be
I think
surprised.
yeah, that sounds familiar.
But so it's
Like-
it's really cute and fun, and like she has like there's this one like older girl she's always trying to impress that like tries to get her to bring in like modern outside technology in, because she's like a teenager and wants to do cool stuff. So one of them was like a photo booth. So she just kind of like the other girl's dad is pulling her out of General Ma's room, and she's like trying to describe a photo booth. So the girl's like, "Oh, that sounds really cool." So General Mao sets up a photo booth, and it's literally just a cardboard box with like a hole cut out, like you would do like a TV screen when you're a kid playing, and then another guy on the other side taking pictures of people in it. And it's like, oh, it got super popular in this little town. So that's been really fun. I'm going to backtrack for a second back to Tiger King, because Mike missed the most important scene in Tiger King. Now, you're watching Tiger King, and like, what's a famous song about tigers? Eye of the Tiger. So this whole time, you're waiting for them to play Eye of the Tiger. So they finally do it for the most innocuous goddamn thing. So there's this guy in it named James, and they literally describe him as businessman. And so Eye of the
He
Tiger...
owns a strip club.
He owns several strip clubs and other stuff. So Eye of the Tiger starts playing, and it's just a minute of footage of James on a jet ski. Now, James is a good 360 pounds, probably 5'10 at best, and he's just rolling around on a jet ski. And
With a mullet.
with a mullet. They're just playing Eye of the Tiger, and it has nothing to do with anything that's going on to the rest
You
of the
think
show.
like they're gonna give us some revelation about this guy at this point? Like the epic song starts playing, he's on the jet ski, the epic scene starts playing. You're like, what revelation are they about to tell us? And it's just like, and so it's nothing.
It's probably like in the fine print of the consent form. Like, we're not gonna like. He's like, I don't need any money from this. Just you have to play Eye of the Tiger over me when I'm doing this.
He might
That's
have.
the only reason. That's
He might have
the
paid
only
for
way
the
I'll agree to
rights.
be in your movie.
Well, he is very central to the story. He really sets up our climax, if we can call it a climax, as it's ongoing. And Free Joe. So another show I'm watching, it's called Asteroid in Love. And it's about these girls that they met when they were about 6-7 years old, and they agreed that they want to discover an asteroid. At the time, they meet back up in high school, so they go to join the astronomy club, only to find out it no longer exists. What? But they find out that it merged together with the geology club into the Earth Science Club. So now it's these bunch of like 5 high school girls going around doing geology, astrology, having a bunch of fun, living their best lives. It's a very cute, fun show.
It's not anything that I expected to hear him describing to me.
I
tonight.
feel like there's parts missing from this.
That's the show. There's nothing weird about that one. I watch normal stuff. Recently, we were at movie theaters before they shuttered those, and I saw the My Hero Academia movie, which for those that you don't know, it's a Japanese anime, like a shonen. It's more of like a Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. It's a world where everyone basically has superpowers, and then the people with the best superpowers become heroes, or they become villains, obviously, You can't control everyone. But it's different from like an X-Men. It's like if X-Men was like we got it 70 years later where everyone already had the powers instead of like the first generation. So there's none of that discrimination. I think it's 85% of people have these quirks. So this movie sets up about this the group of villains that want to take over the world, and like it's very generic. We want to rule the world, so power rules, might makes right kind of thing. But the animation's really well done. I definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it, which I'm assuming is all of you.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
And then there's another movie, anime movie that recently came out. This one is called Weathering with You, which was made by the same guy that did Your Name, which I believe was nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Film when it came out. So Weathering with You is a story of basically it's in Tokyo, but it's just raining constantly now. Like it's been raining for 100 days straight. And this girl finds out when she prays, it stops raining like where she is. So they basically use that power to make money for a while because they're like living on their own because their parents died because it's anime. So there's a lot of like really cool shots with like the rain and running around. It's like a beautifully well drawn film with an excellent soundtrack. The only thing that really got me is like how much it rained. Like it's just a soggy goddamn world. Like it's literally raining all the time except for in the one location she prays in, which isn't every day.
Oh wait, so when she prays, it doesn't stop raining everywhere. It just stops where she's at.
Yeah, like basically, let's say a mile radius at best.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very cool film. I don't know how the actual release came out, if it would have been up for Oscars this year or if it would be next year, but I'm assuming it would be there because this guy, he makes bangers. He makes bangers. So
Put that on the poster.
Yeah.
Ian says he makes bangers.
Just like Hey Kitty Kitty slaps. Check out Hey Kitty Kitty. That's
It does slap a little bit.
It slaps. Like, it slaps. So another anime I have been watching is called Somali in the Forest Spirit. It takes place in a fantasy world where humans are nearly extinct because there's a bunch of different beastmen and stuff. The humans called them grotesque. And humans, of course, don't like things that aren't like them, so the humans started attacking them. But in this world, the animals, because they're actual animal people, are a lot stronger than humans. So nearly all the humans have been killed off. So our story starts with a golem who is a forest spirit. He just patrols the forest and keeps it safe, makes sure everything's in balance. And he just finds one day this little 4 or 5 year old human girl with a chain like around her neck because she was obviously going to be sold as a slave. But now she's by herself and she just sees him and yells, "Dad?" So now they're hanging out, and we find out the golem only has 200 days left before he'll shut off and won't be around anymore. So he's taking her around the world to try and find another human to take care of her after he dies. It's a really cool, fun story, which it's like I said, very well done visually. The music plays along. The girl's very cute. I really enjoy when you get a kid in it, like anything really, like live action or not, and it feels like a kid. They trip, they fall, they're not perfect, they stumble. Like there's issues they have because they're a kid. They don't know any better. It's a lot of like really fun shit in that regard.
Nice.
Oh, never mind. I saw a message in chat. I was like, oh, it's my time coming up, but it's just from Josh. Oh, wow. I feel like I didn't get a 5-minute warning. So I'm going to move on. What?
210. You got 210.
So Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone. We've been playing this, me, Brian, Mike, and a bunch of other people. It's the new Battle Royale from Infinity Ward. Because they released Blackout, which didn't do as well as they would hope. So then they released Warzone this year, and it's a lot of fun. I was surprised it started out, I don't know about you guys, that it was 3s, like on launch. I don't know how you guys felt about that. Like, were you
For the squad size.
Yeah, were you expecting it to be 3s when it came out, or something else?
I think I expected 4s because I think Blackout was 4, wasn't it? Or was it 3? I can't remember now that since I haven't played Blackout for a while.
It was the Battlefield one that was 4.
Right, but I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops 4
I never played Blackout.
Blackout was available. I think Blackout might have been free eventually too to play.
Oh, it was? I was going to say, you had to purchase Black Ops 4 to get Blackout, and I wasn't doing that.
Maybe, I don't know. They gave us a free weekend to try it, and I think after the weekend I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick this game up, and I did buy it for a lot of that, and I didn't play it nearly enough, but now I can't remember what the squad size was, if it was 3 or 4. Either way, I was going into Warzone thinking it was going to be four-man squads.
So I think the 3-man works, and I the one thing this Battle Royale does that's different than all the others, there's less emphasis on the looting. Like, you're not going around the whole game trying to find the right gun or the right attachment. Really, you're finding those guns early on so you can get enough money to buy a loadout drop, which lets you bring in a loadout from the your normal multiplayer class list. So basically every game, essentially you're going to end up with the same end weapon, which it's a completely different take. I don't think anyone else has tried that yet as a Battle Royale, and I think it's breathed some new life into it because you're no longer worried as much about the looting. You can kind of focus on the fighting more and like getting better matchups with that, and then instead of being like, well, I didn't get a Spitfire with all the gold fucking attachments, so I can't win this Apex game. Or,
Yeah.
shit, all I found is R99s and Mozambiques. I guess we're not making it out of this one, guys. And then the vehicles in it has been a nice addition, too. We have seen some recent videos where they might be a little overpowered, and the vehicles, they fuck. These vehicles...
do.
These vehicles kill like Carol Baskins killed her husband.
Let me
You've
tell
been
you
waiting
something
all night
about
for that.
Let me tell you something about vehicles. I was recently playing a singles match, and I got down to the end. There was 5 people left. 3 of us not in helicopters, 2 in helicopters. Evidently, none of the 3 of us not in helicopters had rocket launchers. Not any of us. But I killed the other 2 people on the ground. And then the people in the helicopters just stayed up in helicopters. Now, again, this was singles, so one of them had to lose. You know, I mean, they couldn't both win. But they stayed up in their damn helicopters.
Did they try
I mean,
and
it's
ram?
cheap, but it's a smart play.
What?
Was it 2 people on the same team or?
No, it was solos. It was solos.
So did they
There
try
was
and
no team.
I can't remember what it's called now. Joust. Did they try and joust with the helicopters?
They were circling each other pretty good. And eventually one of the helicopters blew up, but I couldn't see what happened. They were so far straight up because I'm having to stay
the
in
ground,
the circle
yeah.
as it becomes the size of a person. Which I think there's a simple solve to this problem. Let the circle get so small and then just stop. It doesn't have to become nowhere to stand at all. Let it be the size of maybe 3 players. You know what I mean? Let it be
I still don't think that solves your helicopter problem, though. They'd still be above you.
Let
with
it be.
room to move.
I'm saying no. I'm saying make the size of the circle smaller than a helicopter, but bigger than a single person.
Well, only that part of the cockpit.
The
needs to be-
helicopters take damage and blow up from the
Oh,
gas.
okay.
So it would solve that. He had to win. He had to jump out of the helicopter, and then because we both had gas masks, but I guess he had the stim pack thing where you can shoot yourself with a needle and get your health back. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's the
That's what it's called, a stem.
yeah. So I guess he had that, and I didn't.
Of course.
So I came in second. I shot the one that the first helicopter blew up. The guy jumped out of it, and I shot him out of the air. And when he was parachuting down, killed him, no problem. The other guy, it's this should not be how these rounds end. This should not be if I had lost a 1v1 gunfight there at the end of it, I'd just be whatever, shit happens. I didn't lose a 1v1 gunfight. That was my shot to win a solo, and I lost because somebody was hiding in a helicopter.
Use it until they patch it.
I mean, that's the way to play
your
the game.
cue. Yeah, that's your cue to use a helicopter next
Or have
time.
an RPG.
Just be that guy.
Or a Pilla. Or a Joker.
I have principles.
Depends how bad you want to win. You want to win. If that's the bar, that's where you got to go with it.
I prefer to raise the bar and be the guy that stands firm with the line in the sand and says, no, I'm not going to be that asshole.
Then I feel like you're going to continue to lose to the dickhead in the helicopter.
That's why
No,
you're dead
I feel
on the
like
mat
I'm
while
always
Ivan
gonna have
Drago stands above you.
I feel like I'm always going to have a rocket launcher come to the end now. I'm always going to have one now.
So I'm just going to start my time because I'm just going to keep talking about Warzone because I can't stop. Yeah, I think sort of the same video I think that Ian was referring to that I sent him today. I put it in the Discord today, but the one guy I watch on YouTube all the time, Tio, Swedish guy that I've been watching for way back since Battlefield 3. The one guy that I've stuck with over years on YouTube. But he's been playing Warzone, puts up a couple videos. The last one he did was just him and his squad just getting in trucks. All 3 of them took a different truck and were just trolling people the entire time. And they fucking win this thing, basically staying in the trucks most of the time. And the other get from that video was the RPG is a great secondhand weapon because they were using that for everything. And even when I played with Don and Tim the one night that we won, they were raving about the RPG, which I technically don't really use. I use it as a last resort sometimes, but it's not my go-to weapon choice to try to use.
Oh, it's overpowered.
Yeah.
It's too prevalent. There's too many rockets around for it. It's one of those things that it's it could use a little bit of a tone down, just an ammo.
Yeah. And I think as much as I love this mode and it's got me to play Call of Duty more than I have in probably 5 years, there's still the Call of Duty staples. The RPG is not something that should be, like Mike said, overpowered and something to be relied on in a game that's about gunplay.
It should be overpowered. It shouldn't
Well-
be as easily available.
Fair.
It shouldn't
Yes.
be just laying around. Like so many times you drop into a match and it's like, oh look, I have a handgun, and here's an RPG, and here's an RPG, and here's an RPG. It's like I just want a fucking assault rifle, and I found 6 rocket launchers before I found anything else.
Well, at the same time, it's almost like they have to put it in there because there are vehicles on the field. So you have to have those available to be able to counter the vehicles that are on the ground.
And that's the problem.
And they've added more guns with the new patch. There's more variety now, and I think you
Yes.
find more other guns. There's less like, okay, that's all RPGs now.
Yeah.
Good. I haven't played since the patch. I haven't actually got a chance. I want to try to hop on soon, but I've not gotten a chance to play since the patch. Like, I know they changed some controls up and stuff like that.
Yeah, the spotting system needed some work, and they changed it, which I don't know if it's better. I'm
Did they
still
make it
getting
one
used
of the
to it.
sticks?
No. So when the game first came out, the spotting, at least for I'm like playing on Xbox, so I got the Xbox controller. So spotting people was the up direction on the pad, which I got used to, but it's terrible for that split second. You have to take your thumb off the left stick, which is your movement, to try to spot an enemy. So you're standing still in those split seconds. You need to spot someone, which is a terrible idea in a first-person shooter.
Right.
After the last patch, they flipped some of the grenade controls where your right bumper is your grenade. If you hit, I think I can't remember if it's up or down on the one of the pad directions. I think maybe left and right. Switches between your tactical and lethal grenade. So you
Okay.
map one to right bumper and then you throw that grenade. So your left bumper is now free, so that becomes your spot button. Which takes a bit to get used to, because even still, now I feel like my
You're
pointer
taking it off
finger,
of ADS.
right, I'm losing my aim down sights to try to spot people. So that's still not much better, but at least
They
I
need
can
to
still
just-
move. So
Well,
I
why
would take
is it that
that
these
over the
companies
pad.
don't just let us map to the controller what we want things to be?
Yeah.
Well, you
So
can on
the-
PS4.
the-
You can do it on Xbox too. Like with a Pro, you can do it. Like you
Yeah,
can
so you
map a
need
Pro any way you want, but you have to map it differently for every game.
But isn't that what you're saying? They'll let you map it how you want it.
I'm saying in game, let me map it so I don't have to go out. Because like if I map, so what I would have to do to make that work is I would have to map the left bumper to be like the left stick pushing
Mm-hmm.
on the controller,
Yeah,
not in the game, but on the controller, and that would be for every game unless I changed it back. Let us do it in the game. Just let us have controller mapping in these
Yeah.
games.
And maybe that's something they'll work on or tweak it, because I feel like that's got to be something they're getting feedback. Considering the first almost patch they did after Warzone came out, they switched what button spotted people. They were definitely getting feedback on that control.
It's just funny because on PC you can do it with the keybinds, like whatever.
Right.
So, like
Well, yeah, you can do whatever you want with keybinds.
No, but I mean, like they clearly can put it in the game. Like this input does, you can clearly change it. I'm
and it
playing
makes
with
no
you
difference
guys
whatsoever to the competitive aspect of the game.
because we're all playing together anyway, so I can do it. You guys can't.
You're right.
Right. And if I can change my controls to be whatever button I want to press should do whatever I want it to do. That should be in like every game.
No, that's I think something people have been talking about since the 360 came out. I think about mapping. Like once we
Yeah.
had an actual OS and like storage system that was reliable enough, I think people have been asking for this from everyone, and I don't know of
Yep.
anyone that's reliably done it.
Guess we'll see if next gen does it.
No.
There's some games I played that are close.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny came close because Destiny has like a significant number of layout options. It's not laying it out 100% customizable, but there's a lot of options that you have in Destiny for your button layout. Dark Souls dealt with this because for a long time in Dark Souls you had to press the same button to sprint as you had to jump. It was the same button, so you had to stop sprinting and press that button again to be able to jump. And that sucked. So what did they do with Dark Souls 2? They changed it so you could choose between pressing the B button or pressing in the left control stick. And then by the time Sekiro came around, which this is one where you can do it, you can map whatever the hell you want in Sekiro.
That's helpful.
They did that because they had a lot of people that wanted to play it, but used like the what are those controllers called for the disabled? Is
The
it like
Avenger?
adaptive controllers?
Oh yeah. I was thinking
Like
of a
it-
specific
where-
model was the Avenger, but yeah, the adaptive controllers.
Yeah, so like if you're disabled and you want to play these games, and the specific keybinds that a game comes with don't suit you, they won't suit the adaptive controller. And companies need to start opening that up so that disabled people can map it to be whatever they want on that adaptive controller. And it does not change anything about a fucking game for me to press the A button and have it do what I want it to do. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make the game any different. If I prefer to press the right bumper instead of A, let us do that.
Yeah, that's some. Yeah, ideally that's something that will be fixed in hopefully future generations or moving forward with games. But like Ian said, they've been talking about that for years and nothing's happened. So don't hold your breath.
I'm holding my breath for next gen to actually care about that kind of thing because
Yeah.
they can.
I don't think they even did it with Stadia, so.
Jeez, like that's your.
It's a revolutionary new game platform that came out from a billionaire. If they can't do it, who can?
That same billionaire that made all the great YouTube choices recently.
Yeah.
I bet Stadia got canceled while we recorded this.
Yeah, probably. Most likely.
It should.
Trying to think what else about Warzone. I do like the fact that it gives you a couple more chances to come back. Like, it's not just once you die, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
First life, you're in the gulag, so you got to win a 1v1 to come back. Even if you fail, if your teammates are still alive, they can earn cash to bring you back as many times as they can before the end of the match, which makes it feel more exciting. You're not just sitting there waiting for your friends to die. You're actively rooting for them to do good so that you can then be revived and come back and help.
Am I the only one here that's hoping for, like, a gulag tournament mode? Where it's just the gulag and, like, say, 64 people or 150 people enter and it's a last man standing. Just keep winning until you die and then you're out. Just 1v1s in the gulag until one person's left standing.
Well, they have something similar, but it's not like a tournament style. Like, Ian and I were playing the gunfight mode, which is 2v2 in small matches like that. And you get 2 rounds of a weapon set, and then they swap it, and then you try another weapon set for 2 rounds, and then it's first to 6 rounds wins, and then, you get match made again and go over.
Yeah.
But that's available. Like, you have to own the game for that. The only free part of it is the Warzone part of it. Which Warzone comes with a couple game modes. There's the Battle Royale, and then there's the Plunder, which is a money grab type
Isn't that blood money now?
Yeah, they changed the rules a little bit. Where as soon as you kill someone, they are guaranteed to drop money. So I think they're trying to force engagements instead of just people running around grabbing cash. They're trying to entice people to kill other players to then be rewarded for that.
Which doesn't always
Yeah,
work.
I'm pretty sure Chris, Sean, and myself won a couple of matches by not killing anyone.
I think
0
there's still
kills,
ways to do
0
it.
engagement, 0 other people seen, and we won the match.
Yeah. Was that Plunder or Blood Money?
That was in Plunder. That was back
Okay.
before they patched things up. But that's how bad Plunder was with, like, you didn't have to do anything good to win.
Right. Yeah. We referenced it on your show, but the last time I played Blood Money was the time I just raged and was like, I am tired of this. I cannot. It's faster paced, and I don't know if that's good, but I got into that Call of Duty cycle of like live, die, repeat of just like being respawned, died immediately by the same fucking guy, and then I get pissed off and try to kill the same fucking guy, only for him to kill me again.
The problem with it is he could have chosen to drop anywhere on this map. He could have floated his
dropping
parachute
the same guy.
with the giant height advantage with the thermal scope.
Well, it's like I'm dropping in with my teammates thinking I'll try to cover them while they're doing stuff, or maybe they can help me stay alive. But no, I just die immediately, or I'm always running behind them, and then I get picked off again.
And,
So
and
that
I
was
feel
the last
like
draw
I'm the
for me. That
opposite
was-
because, like, I play normal Warzone and I've got a KD of, like, 0.8. Not very good. And I play Plunder, Blood Money, whatever it's called, and I'm like 1.4, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm the complete opposite, where it's like, give people an objective where I can know where engagements are going to happen, and I'm fine. When engagements could happen with me being shot in the back at any given point in time, I don't do very good.
Yeah. But yeah, all that being said, I'm still absolutely fucking loving Warzone. There's a good chance I'm going to keep playing this. You can check out Mike's stream. I try to stream on Twitch when I'm remembering to do that, or when I think we're going to win. Mike and I both streamed our first win with Ian. Ian was there too. So that's out there if you want to watch us win our first Warzone. That is out there.
It's
to
on
be watched.
YouTube. I have it up on YouTube.
Yes.
What's the YouTube
So go check that
channel?
out.
Tyrannus. Tauranis. Tyrannus on YouTube.
I've been kicking myself because I have won a couple matches since then, and I did not decide to stream them. So they exist. I took screenshots of the winning page. I just haven't. I don't have those as a video log to be able to show people like, look, this is how we won.
I have proof.
I recorded my second win with Dawn, which you can also find on YouTube.
There you go.
That's there. I have remembered to record things. That wasn't on stream.
Well, that's kind of like what you do now.
It.
I still got to remember to just turn that on when I'm just playing. So between Mike and I, check out the Twitch pages. I'm on Twitch as BryGuy2884. Check us out. Hopefully, I'll be trying to remember to stream more stuff. I am under the gun for 8 minutes, so I'm going to try to get through some of the other stuff that's not Warzone. Between being off of work for a little while, recovering from surgery, and then this whole quarantine thing, I fired up my PS4 for probably the first time in months to play through some stuff. So I was trying to go through, because I've bought games on there on sale that they're just sitting there waiting for me to do something with. I had a game save in there. I was trying to play through the Uncharted series. I bought 4 when it was on sale, probably Christmas or possibly even early last year sometime. I don't remember how long I had, but it's been sitting there waiting for me to do it. And I was like, I'm going to play through the first Uncharted trilogy before getting to 4. It's a franchise I love. I absolutely adore those games. I picked up a save from 3, so I finished 3 while I was off, and then went into Uncharted 4. I finished Uncharted 4 in like 5 days. That game is fucking great. I cannot talk enough about those games. I love those games so much that it makes me fearful of the movie, because I want the movie to be the game so badly that I don't think they're going to be, and I think I'm going to walk out of that movie disappointed by the time it's released.
But, like, what do you want then? Like, just the story, like, notes, or like...
Not even the story. Like, first of all, I want the adult Nathan Drake. I don't think it needs to be kid Nathan Drake, like, origin story crap. I think you can do an Indiana Jones. Like, that's all Nathan Drake is in Uncharted. It's modern day Indiana Jones. Just give me that. I think you can definitely find someone that fits that bill and somehow looks like... I mean, 10 years ago, Nathan Fillion would have been perfect. And I'm so glad they did that short film with him, because I've wanted that for years. So at least that scratched that itch. It's kind of for me, but... And right now, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head who I would cast as Nathan Drake. I like Tom Holland enough that I want to see what happens, but I don't think you need to do an origin story of young Nathan Drake and then try to kick off a franchise that way. I think that's unnecessary.
I don't think he makes a good Nathan Drake anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it
I like
depends what
Tom
they do with
Holland,
him.
but I don't think he's Nathan Drake. It's a different character.
I still want to see what they do. Like I said, I like Tom Holland enough to see where they go. But yeah, we'll reserve judgment if that movie ever fucking gets made, because the revolving door of directors, it just keeps changing.
True.
What else? I started back up. I very, very quickly started The Last of Us probably months ago, and then I got sidetracked with other stuff. So I started to dive back into that game. I didn't get to finish that one because Warzone happened. So I've been distracted very much by Warzone and have not finished The Last of Us, but I fully intend to go back and finish that game. As far as stuff that I've been watching, I think the last movie I saw in theaters was actually Sonic, which was fucking great.
Did he go fast?
He did go fast.
Gotta go fast!
Did they play the Sonic song? Did we get like the...
There wasn't... I was really hoping that the soundtrack would be like Sonic level theme songs, just as an orchestra type of thing. Like when Sonic's on, you hear that as like his theme. There is 1 or 2 instances where they cue up music from the game, but it is not as prevalent in the soundtrack as I would have hoped.
How many chili dogs were there?
I did not count. Probably a lot.
Well, see, was there more than one then? Or?
I mean, he eats food at a bar. I'm trying to think if he has a chili dog at the bar. Somehow that sort of makes sense where it could fit in.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's his signature food. You got to put it in if he's eating.
There. So there you go. Maybe it's probably in there. I take it none of you have seen that movie?
Not yet.
I almost watched it yesterday, but I did not yet.
Okay.
Because
I think it's worth it.
It's on the early access stuff now. And because you have to buy it. And I was like, $20 to buy. I don't know if I'm going to like it that much.
Like, I really love Ben Schwartz.
Amazon says they have, I don't know if it's a 4K version, but it's on sale for $17.
Is that digital or disc?
Digital.
Okay.
I mean, that's still, like, 17 is still $20, basically. It's like,
I'm just saying.
It's a couple bucks less, but it's not like...
Yeah.
I can wait the time and pay $5 to rent it and find out if I like it.
Yeah.
Josh, did you get around to that one or no?
No, I had actually wanted to. I think Sarah had said that she could have like taken it or left it, and then yeah, we just didn't get there before everything went to shit.
I can't believe that wasn't
Yeah.
a Valentine's movie for you guys.
It did come out on Valentine's Day.
That actually, that same weekend we went to see Fantasy Island instead.
Oh, big mistake.
It's kind of surprising because she knew Josh would go fast.
Oh, that wasn't called for.
Low blow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was right there,
Have-
man.
have
You're the
I-
jizz. Why not?
Did I unknowingly insult you in a former life or something? The hell?
It was teed
Realize
up,
the callback
man.
you just made may never get used ever. Like, no one's gonna get that.
I don't. It doesn't. I don't care.
Brian,
I get it,
Brian,
that's-
you say it that way you have to put it in the cold open. I've learned.
Apparently,
I've learned
that's
that.
how
Yes.
it works.
You reference stuff Brian wants to cut that he has to put it in.
But yeah, that considering the shitstorm that movie went through, whether over their character design for Sonic and how they salvaged that design, I'm glad to see that it made a shit ton of money when it came
So
out.
you say salvage, but
they deserved the shit
I
storm.
feel like this was a new Coke thing. Where they purposely released a very shitty looking Sonic to get people talking about it, and they were never gonna release that. Like that
I
was
hope
so
that's true.
goddamn bad.
I
That is
hope that's
brilliant
true
marketing
because the
if they- if
alternative
that's
is
what they did.
terrible.
Like that looked like an
Yeah.
unholy abomination sent from hell. And then they
at the
released
same
the fucking
time-
screenshots.
Everything about that Sonic design says like studio. It has studio notes written all over it. Someone that has no idea who Sonic is or like why he should be looking like a cartoon or from the video game. Like we gotta make him look more human. No one cares about a cartoon. He has to be human looking.
It's
like-
a hedgehog. Give him fucking straight teeth like they were fucking on braces. And
Yeah, it's yeah. Leon's right. It's horrifying, but he looks a lot better in the movie. The finished product is a lot better. So if you're curious about Sonic, I would say check it out. It's literally it's peak Jim Carrey too. If you love Jim Carrey from the '90s Ace Ventura era, god damn it, watch this movie.
I did really like
Um,
about that though. I heard Ben Schwartz. They had him do the like little teaser trailer when they were pitching it to the studios, and
Yeah.
he wasn't actually going to be the voice of Sonic. They just eventually couldn't get anyone else. I'm like, you want to do it, Ben?
Well, that works. It's even better. He's great in the movie too.
Very happy for him after House of Lies got canceled.
Last one for me. I decided to jump on CBS All Access for the free month. So I think I talked about it a while ago, but I had bought the first season of Star Trek Discovery and watched that. Like I own a hard copy of the season set. And since I don't have CBS All Access, I had to wait till the second season came out and try to buy it, which I haven't done. So now that I'm getting the free month, I decided to jump into season 2 of Star Trek Discovery, which that show is great.
That the-
It's worth checking out.
Is that the Star Trek like they announced when they were doing CBS All Access, or is it? Did they make another? Okay,
Yes.
that's okay. I just wasn't sure if
Yes.
there was 2 or something.
No, yeah.
That's
Well,
Jason Isaacs and
yes. Yeah.
all that stuff.
First 2 seasons, there's only 2 seasons out. I don't know when season 3 starts. I probably won't be able to watch it because I'm sure my month will be up by then before it starts. But CBS All Access does the week-to-week episodes, which seems to be some of the norm that streaming services are starting to do now.
How many episodes is a season?
Season 2 was 14. I don't remember what season 1 was.
They 24 hour, like half hour.
50-ish minutes. Yeah. Oh.
I'm surprised you even set a time
Um,
for yourself.
I've been waiting on
Yeah.
that free CBS All Access. I'm trying to activate it like at the very end of the availability of it, so that anything that does come out, it like between now and the end of that month that I would have, I
Right.
can access the most stuff possible.
Yeah, I think that they're giving the promo code away until like April 23rd or something, I think was the date.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine actually texted me a second code. So I think I'm activated for 2 months. So if you try the code GIFT and then the second code is ENJOY, and hopefully you get 2 months free for
Oh, so I
CBS
could
All
do
Access.
that like the 22nd, and then I would be good until like June 22nd.
I mean, I don't know when I'm assuming the codes are still valid through then. At least the gift one was the one they promoted until the end of April. I don't know about the second code and the
Okay.
ENJOY code. I don't know when that's valid through.
I'll have to look that up.
But he just said, "Hey, try this. I did it. It worked." So I tried it, and it seemed like it took. So I think I'm
Sweet.
okay for a little bit. So the next show I'm going to jump into is Picard. I have to that was another reason I wanted to try CBS All Access and see what that. So that just wrapped up its first season. So I do want to see what that's about. So hopefully I can talk about that the next time we do one of these.
Which I feel like should be sometime soon, by the way, because we're all cooped up and have nothing to do.
Yeah, the news cycle's pretty slow because no one's working or doing anything.
You're not going to talk about all the delays.
Yeah, well, I mean that's one thing I would mention is that we did get an update on the delay of Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
which kind of ruined my fucking year.
What?
Knowing that it wasn't coming out until March next year now. That kind of like ruined. Like I was like, oh, they'll push it back until the fall. No, they're like, fuck you, March. And I'm like, God,
which I
damn
get.
it.
I mean, everything else is starting to get pushed back too. So I'm sure some of the dates they had maybe lined up, some people were already starting to take. So they just played it safe and went out like a full year.
Yeah, I get it.
And at the same time, like we talked about that on the show, where like maybe them putting stuff into the quote unquote like off months might start a trend going forward where we can get year round movies and not just like 3 months of the summer. Let's put everything in there.
Yeah.
It just sucks that it has to be that movie, the one that I wanted to see the most. Like that was
That
the
would've been,
gut
like,
punch
the
for me. That
best
it's like
thing,
shit.
to get people back into the theaters at the end of all this, because they're projecting like right around its release date initially is when they're projecting right now that all this shit's gonna like slow down and come to an end. If there was anything that could get me back into a crowded theater of people after all this shit happens, it's fucking Ghostbusters.
No,
Yeah.
no. I already hate everyone else in a movie theater. The last thing I need is for one of them to be asymptomatic.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with that. But I'm saying if there was something, I didn't say that it would, but if there was something, it was going to be Ghostbusters. What's releasing in June now?
Nothing. Because no one will be in the theater because we won't be
Yeah,
allowed.
everything's gotten delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But whatever the first movie out is, it'll probably be Black Widow, honestly, if I had to guess. It'll probably be Black Widow will be the first big movie that they put out after all of this shit. And if I was guessing.
I mean, I think regardless of whatever the first big movie is, I think audiences are still going to be hesitant to go to the movie theater whenever it's released.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be the first one to test that market.
Yeah.
I really would.
That's somebody taking a gamble that people want to be really forgetful about what's been going on and how quickly, you know, the movie-going audiences want to venture out into public like that into an enclosed space with a bunch of people.
Could the Chinese
Yeah.
movie market have any effect on it? Like waiting for that to open back up too?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. Because they know they can make half their budget back, or you know, half whatever they expect to earn. Half of it comes from China anyway, so they want China to be open too.
We talked about that actually on the last podcast about like China opened up for a couple of days and then shut back down.
Yeah, did anybody check that? Is that the timeline of events that just is that how it happened?
No, I never followed.
I didn't check it.
Yeah, I didn't go to check it.
I mean, I
either.
know they
I had no
wrote-
reason to question
They
it.
relaxed like their restrictions and they put them back on, but I don't
Okay.
know if they're on full on like arresting people in vans quarantine again. But
Yeah, I thought Josh was talking about how he thought that he was reading that they opened the movie theaters back up, and then I thought I read one after that said that they closed them back again, so that no one's going to the theater there again, at least right now. But I wasn't sure the timeline of events if I was reading an article before him or after him. So anyway, yeah, that's all I got. So I think that's probably a good place to end it for us.
If I may, I would be a horrible
Yeah.
friend if I did not pitch something for a good friend of ours.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've mentioned her on the show before, but her name is Sarah Tarkoff, Tarkoff. She is a screenwriter, among other things. She's actually worked on Arrow for several years.
I
She's
remember Sarah telling me
high
about
school
her.
friend of my wife's. The third book in her Eye of the Beholder trilogy just came out yesterday on March 31st. So it started with Sinless, which I think was 2018, and then Fearless, I believe was a year later, and now the last one in the series, Ruthless, was just released. It is available, I think, through like Amazon and a bunch of online bookstore retailers. There are some channels you can find that I think can try to connect you into like your local, like mom and pop bookshops to support them as well. But again, if you are looking for stuff to do and if you like to read, check this out. It's the third one in the series.
There you go.
Indie Bound
There's
is the place you can go to look for books for your local independent bookstores.
I think that's the one she mentioned. I just couldn't remember the name. Thank you. It's called what? Indie Bound.
Bound, yes. Nice pun.
INDIEBOUND.org. Yep, got it. Perfect.
And if they type in Eye of the Beholder series, they'll be able to find it, you think?
Probably. I'm looking on Goodreads right now, and that's sort of how it's. The entry is there. Eye of the Beholder series. Again, I'm sure probably if you search, her author name as well. Again, TARKOFF. You could get there eventually as well.
Have to check that out.
Yeah.
Since we're doing plugs, I want to plug a podcast. It's called
yeah?
Fireside Chat, hosted by Ryan McCormick. It's a audio diary. Currently, the current format's an audio diary of his everyday life because he can't see a psychiatrist every day. Check it out. I think the most recent one, it's hard to keep track, was him giving us an hour-long story about him moving into a new place and deciding to drop acid right before he got a couch delivered. Very fun story.
That's fair.
I think we can call him friend of the pod, right? He's a friend of the pod.
Yeah, former coworker of half this podcast.
Yeah.
and if we're plugging podcasts, I'll go ahead and I'll plug Super Friends Uncut, which you can catch on Twitch and soon on YouTube, where we give a live uncut podcast of it's myself, Brian, and Ian. In the future, probably others. We'll figure that out when the time comes. You can catch that on Twitch and on YouTube very soon.
Under what name?
Tyrannus. It'll be on my YouTube channel. Same one we mentioned earlier.
So there you go. For anyone listening, there's no shortage of stuff to listen and watch and read.
You can
This
hear
is the time
us
to do it.
fucking pontificate all you want.
And you have my backlog of podcasts that I have put out on here before. You've probably heard of them. Go back, listen to those old episodes, and find out what they're called.
He's asking you to remember because he doesn't remember any of them.
Plordholio.
Oh, damn it. He did pull one. He did remember one. All right. So if you've enjoyed the show, please support us. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Give us a share on social media. Make sure to follow or subscribe to keep up with the show. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Google, hosted on Anchor. As always, you can find us on Facebook. Search Bry Guy and Super Friends or go to facebook.com/Bry Guy Super Friends. You can send us questions, comments, topic suggestions, any of that stuff there. You can attempt to email us, bryguysuperfriends@gmail.com. Josh claims I'm going to check it. I probably won't, but you can try. Hit us up on Twitter @BGSuperFriends. And on behalf of Ian, Mike, Josh, and myself, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Love you guys.
We miss you, Andy.